We are fortunate to be on high, the corridor and stairs on the lower floor are full of people, noisy loudly all, even more chaotic than the market. Tranquilich sighed, my brother has to go down to see the situation, otherwise it will be very passive. Nguyen and Gung frowned, how long has he gone? Tranquilich said in an uncertain tone, perhaps we'll quickly come back. While reminding Cao came, just or Tranqui Cohen went down to Chin under the reconnaissance. Tranquilich happily, brother. How is the situation downstairs? Tranqui took a glance at Nguyen and Gung, shook his head, his voice was heavy, not very good, the people in the villa running here do not bring many things, perhaps less than 2 days have gone out of food. Tranquilich panicked, how can the rescue team come in time? Tranqui drilled his lips, his words said, Qui calendar, now instead of worrying about them, not equal to us to worry about ourselves more, if they don't have food, they don't know what they will do. Tranquilich was so scared that his face was white, so what to do, it's just a few short days, why is it so chaotic? No one can answer this issue. Nguyen and Gung saw the heavy atmosphere, saying, Mr. Trin, Qui calendar, now downstairs are very chaotic, or we lock the emergency exit again. The emergency exit that Nguyen and Gung said was the staircase connected to the corridor used to make an emergency exit when there was a fire. This door is installed by the investor, using a relatively thick wooden door. When the power fails, it can be entered by swipe and electronic control. Now without electricity, it is impossible to close, anyone can go in and out. Although the quality of the door depends on the conscience of the investor, but as long as it is locked, if they want to enter them, they have to break the door, which is equivalent to an additional insurance layer. Hearing Nguyen and Gung's proposal, Tranqui Cohen turned to assess the emergency exit, quickly said, maybe, this can be opened from both sides, just use the chain to lock it back, I go to get the lock. An unsafe lock, I also offer one more. Nguyen and Gung pretended to enter the house, but actually took from the space to a chain lock and 3 keys. When she came out, Tranqui Cohen locked the escape himself. The method is very simple, just use the chain to lock on the door handle on both sides, then wrap a few rounds and lock it. Nguyen and Gung gave the lock to him. Tranqui Cohen accepted, installed, then gave his key to Nguyen and Gung, that will probably be much safer, just someone who wants to come in causes noise, luckily there is a lay. Nguyen and Gung laughed and gave his 2 keys to the two. Tranquilich saw that they were about to face the enemy, sadly accepting the key, stopping, she said what the current situation is, don't say the end of the world. Even if Nguyen and Gung knew he could not say, maybe it's just a temporary, though why is the lock still a little safer, she remembered absolutely not to open the door for others. Tranquilich immediately said, I am not so stupid. If anyone dares to have a bad plot to us, they must overcome my body first. Tranqui frowned and said, saying nonsense. Tranquilich laughed, haha, brother, I only give an example. Tranqui Cohen did not pay attention to her anymore, looking at Nguyen and Gung said, although I locked the door, it was not absolutely safe, I knew that there were 3 classes in my house, maybe there would be no problem, but if something happened, I could come to find us. Nguyen and Gung laughed and said, of course, we are now a group. Tranqui Cohen smiled first in the past few days, said to the two, you two talk, I go home first. After you left, Tranquilich leaned close to Nguyen and Gung, whispering, and Gung, I discovered that you were really smart, fortunately thanks to you to help me to buy so many foods, otherwise I would definitely be very worried. Please rest assured, I will definitely remember this grace, later I will find the opportunity to repay you. Nguyen and Gung was funny, how are you, you still want it for me that I don't regret sacrificing my life. Tranquilich pretended to be mysterious, you don't understand, no matter what happens, I can protect you. Nguyen and Gung frowned, not understanding what he meant, but she still had another thought, honestly, now I really have something to ask for help. Tranquilich hurriedly asked, what? Nguyen and Gung said, this is like this, isn't it now unable to leave the house? I practice myself at home. It was both a student in sports, so I wanted to ask you to help you plan to practice. Tranquilich felt a bit disappointed, what do you help me? Just leave it there for me. Nguyen and Gung laughed, also, Shooting with archery is very different. Archers. Trinquilich felt a bit difficult to understand why Nguyen and Gung asked this issue. Although they are all aiming, archery needs the power of muscles, and shooting like us rely on fire. Nguyen and Gung curiously asked, so have you ever been shot archery? Trinquilich nodded. Previously, there was a friend who liked this subject, so I also tried it twice. Nguyen and Gung's eyes glowed. If so, or you come to my house to try it. Precious Calendar is a bit surprised. Do you have also? Nguyen and Gung nodded, led Kui Calendar to his gym in his house. This room is designed simply, according to Trinquilich, it is like a place to play. She is not surprised when Nguyen and Gung really has a gym. She picked up the bow on the table. This is the recurve bow. Last time, what I played was the combined bow. Trinquilich touched the shot, the other has a pulley, so it has less strength, in addition to the accuracy will be a bit higher. Nguyen and Gung, I see in this book that is suitable for beginners. The calendar program is also not hit is clear about the palace, perhaps so. How many pounds are this? Nguyen and Gung answered, 20-4. Trinquilich was startled, it is very suitable for new players. Do you have any other bow trees? Nguyen and Gung nodded, yes, there is a recurve trees weighing 30-2 pounds, another weighing 50 pounds, and a combined bow weighs 70 pounds. Trinquilich was afraid of being blankly, so much, what are you trying to stay in the house? Nguyen and Gung Thuan said, my ex-boyfriend likes to play, but he doesn't take it, so when I moved my house, I brought them here. Trinquilich nodded in a seemingly understood. She took an arrow, stood at another end of the room, into the preparation position. It can be seen that she actually played a few times, but it was only a few times. Flaked, the tip of the nose shook towards the beer, tightly plugged into the surface of the beer. Although she did not hit the heart, but compared to Nguyen and Gung, her achievement was still much better. Her face showed a glad, as expected, the person who had learned to shoot was different. I could not shoot like this. Trinquilich shyly said, nothing, my strength is stronger than you, this weight for me is quite simple to say, moreover this room is quite small. Previously when I trained the rifle I trained to shoot within 50 meters. Nguyen and Gung was not stingy and flattered, anyway, it's very good, really good. Trinquilich laughed haha, thought for a bit and said, stopping, do you want to practice this because I feel that the situation is not good now so I want to have a weapon, right? It is true that Nguyen and Gung has this thought, the most important is the bow of the long-range weapon, while the nail gun is a weapon for melee. She did not know how to renovate the gun, moreover the nail gun in her hand could only shoot when there were obstacles in the front, which also meant to crush it into the head of a person so that it could shoot out the nail. The end result is that the other person is forced to die, even if he shoots in his leg, it is difficult to remove the nail. The advantage of the bow and arrow is that she can ensure safety for herself. Rarely, the calendar talks seriously, I feel that her two recurve Kia bow trees just need to practice a few times to get used to it, but the damage is not large. The combined arc is a modern technology product, strong shooting, moreover its damage is also many times stronger recurve. If you really have to fight, you should still practice with the combined bow. It's just that its structure is a bit complicated, not as simple as the recurve bow. Nguyen and Gung nodded, I know. Trinquilich finished speaking, picked up the book Archery Introduction Curriculum on the table, opened it to see, let me study this, maybe I can understand and teach you again. Nguyen and Gung's expression was happy to be happy, no problem. In the afternoon, the two of them practiced for more than half a day, the precious calendar to help Nguyen and Gung fix the correct posture, and list a single practice schedule even so she can take step by step without being injured. The next day, Nguyen and Gung still practiced in the room as before. But downstairs is extremely bustling. There were 20-5 people, a total of 7 families escaped from the villa to here, old and young, they all had, people did not bring a lot of food, seemingly almost starved to starve. Moreover, the habitat in the corridor is very poor, even going to the toilet is difficult. At first, they also went to the toilet of other households, but repeated many times will make people unhappy. Anyway, even the conditions to use the toilet are not available, people have to catch rainwater to use. The flooded water is getting higher and higher, plus the leaking water from the toilet of the lower floor households so everyone does not dare to use it. There is no place to go to the toilet, there is no place to wash your face, and still be hungry, but if you drink rainwater, you will have diarrhea, so the current atmosphere is increasingly stressed and more pressure. At this moment, a 15-year-old man stood out and said he had to hold a meeting, then everyone agreed to overcome this difficult period. The meeting was held on the 14th floor, and invited more households on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floors to attend. Before the meeting, Mr. Tan asked the borrowed broom and asked his daughter-in-law to sweep the 14th floor dust to clean, repair everything neatly. In fact, most people do not mind the organization of the meeting, nor feel that people gather in one place, they will think of a way, but many people are more energetic, saying maybe there can be excess muddy water to win something good. So at the meeting, every family sent a representative to come. Mr. Tan stood at the highest place, introduced himself first. Hello everyone, I did not explain much about the current situation, I am Chin Duduk, the leader of this neighborhood, now everyone is very difficult, I think we should unite together. Someone asked, how to unite? Chin Duduk said, first, we should set up an organization, I suggest taking its name as the Self-Rescue Committee. No one said anything. Chin Duduk saw that, quite satisfied, the stout face was full of enthusiasm, if no one objected, then let us first establish a self-rescue committee. A white-haired uncle said, say so much, but is there any specific way? Chin Duduk said, of course there is a measure, the most important is the food, I suggest that we should divide it into 2 steps. First, we should focus on managing food, giving priority to the elderly and children. This word has just come out, everyone's face is full of excitement, some people are hard to believe in each other, some people are happy, and some people secretly cursed her mother. A young man over 20 years old, dissatisfied, said, if there is no elderly in the house and children, what about free food? Chin Duduk shook his head, why law giving free? This friend, in difficult times, should not protect the elderly and young children first? The young man said frankly, I ignored it, can't. He just finished speaking, a man over the age of 60 years old, and his neck said, why is this young man like that, in this situation, should not help the elderly? Cold blood. The young man smirked. The rest also began to discuss, especially households on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floors, because they lived close to each other, they had all delivered all food, now they told them to submit food, joking with them, right? The household on the 2nd floor softly said, it is not worth it, or we quickly retreat, they just want to rob our food. Seeing the atmosphere at the meeting more and more tense, Chin Duduk hurriedly raised his hand to tell everyone to be silent. But there is anyone who wants to pay attention to him. There was no other way. Chin Duduk held a bottle of empty mineral water in his hand and smashed the stairs railing, waiting until everyone was quiet. He folded him and said, everyone just heard me say all, I just said the first step earlier, and the second step. Chin Duduk, the second step is also the reason why we have to manage food in a focused way, we must actively ask for help from other residents, so that they will contribute our feelings. Everyone heard that immediately awake. This is also the purpose they come today. Before that, no one asked for food from the households here? No, on the contrary, there are many people who come to ask for food, but in front of the rain, the traffic situation is interrupted, clearly in a short time, no one will come to save them. With this situation, who will donate food? The young man had just opened his mouth to protest the concentration of food and stood out, the leader of the Chin. He said it is easy, but people will take food, if they refuse to donate food for us. Chin Duduk confidently replied, this is the purpose of today's meeting, we have to form a small group to act, choose the most active people as delegates, so that they can explain everything and get the sympathy of the residents here. I am sure that we only need to help each other, we will quickly escape from this difficult situation. The other young man laughed, but did not laugh in leadership. Chin, is it useful now? Who did not know 2 days ago, the solar superstorm, now the traffic is inconvenient, even the aircraft cannot fly, the country has any way to support us. In a short time, the rescue team will not be able to come immediately, maximum of each person can only buy 2 bags of rice, who has food reserves. So the words he said could not do it. Chin Duduk frowned, why can't I do it? I believe there are still many honest people here. Barth other year smirked, he leaned back on the wall, his arms hugged his stomach, and did not say a word. Others also have their own thoughts. It has never been experienced in a solar superstorm that has caused such a great damage, nor does it know when the rain stopped. Who was so stupid that he donated food? The words outside the mouth are only rotten fart. Should. At this time, representing the family on the second floor suddenly said, in fact, except for food, we have to solve the problem of accommodation. Seeing everyone looking at me, his confidence suddenly soared. The apartment close to my house all year round empty, I am sure in this building is still empty. The high-rise buildings are full of amenities, we can find all the empty apartments, then break the door to move inside, anyway it is better than having to live in the corridor. Someone was dumbfounded, it is not very good to do so. The household on the second floor showed a disdainful appearance, there is something bad, the law will not punish everyone, now it is a special period, moreover, it is not after the rain stops we do not compensate. You all live in a mansion, maybe not to take out thousands of UN and tens of thousands. Unlike Chin Duduk, this proposal made others more heartbreaking. The crowd began to be noisy again, even the satirical man just moved, he stood up and said, I agree with this idea. You guys think about it, after the super typhoon happened, the rain was relentlessly, saying that there was still people who could not go home, but they could not have food in the house. We can't continue to be hungry and let the food rotten in the refrigerator, right? This time, more and more people were moved. Breaking the door is not right, but now they are about to starve out, still caring or not doing anything more. Everyone is selfish, like other selfish households who don't want to help them, maybe they can't be selfish to break the door? I agree to break the door of the empty apartments. After finding the food we will focus on managing and prioritizing the elderly with children. Based on where to share with the elderly with children first, must be divided among people to try hard to be right. I also agreed to break the door. In the heart of Chin Duduk, there was still a hesitant, but in the immediate future, there were 7 delegates who agreed, if he protested, he would not make a reputation with them. He still wants to hold the president of the self-rescue committee. Chin Duduk immediately said, all right, so today we solve the problem of the previous place, whoever agreed to break the door of the empty apartments, raise their hands, just need 8 delegates agree, today we will proceed. Soaring, almost everyone raised his hand. And somewhere, another conspiracy was silently taking place. The self-rescue committee meeting is still happening. The plan has been passed by the door to break the empty apartments. List of human resources and tools. Regarding human resources, it is quite easy to solve, each house only needs to send an adult man is okay, but the problem of tools is a bit annoying. Must know, people gathered to beat the door, anyway, the law did not punish the crowd, but at the time of clear calculation, the punishment for those who contribute tools has increased. Everyone does not want to be the first bird. Seeing that everyone dodged, the young man was talking and did not satisfy, just now, the people raised their hands enthusiastically, why are you silent now, so many people like that but no one stands out. A representative on the side of the villa pouted and said, we hurriedly escaped from the mansion, so there was nothing normal in our hands, you must have? I saw the man they presented on the 3rd floor cleaned up the mattress out. The representative of the family quickly said, no. In my house there is no maintenance tool, whoever runs and carries a neurist. The young man glanced at the crowd, I know what people are thinking, no you guys don't want to be responsible. But just now, you didn't hear the leader of Chin said you had to unite. Chin Duduk heard him mention himself, immediately stood up straight, yes, everyone must unite together. In the eyes of the man appearing satirical, he looked at everyone and said, if you have united, not only now but later, even if you regain order, you must unite together, until it is the most effort, who provides tools is the enemy of everyone. He just finished speaking, everyone was shocked. Looking at the young man who was only over 20 years old, suddenly Chin Duduk felt his leadership position was in danger. He frowned and said, this friend, talk, do not threaten others, our self-saving committee is a solidarity for everyone to help each other, not gangs. The other young man did not pay attention to him, if you want to unite, People have to suffer risks together, how other people I cannot manage, but if I let me know who does not follow this covenant, after being released, I will definitely visit that person's whole family. Everyone immediately dumb as mussels. A long time later, a delegate stood out and said, "Go, I agree that everyone has to unite, unable to sell a family." I also agree. Seeing no one objected, the delegate from the household on the second floor had just given an idea and did not persevere anymore, saying, "Actually, I have a toolbox, some things in it must be enough to use." The man glanced at him once and said, "So you quickly take your belongings." Delegates on the second floor returned to his floor. About 5 minutes later he took a box back, then opened it in front of everyone. The row displayed in front of everyone, the things in the box are good. Tan Ni the young An was immediately excited. He looked at the largest and longest hammer and said, "Mom, this hammer looks so strong." He held the hammer in his hand. The hammer body was very good quality, the handle was wrapped in anti-slip plastic and reduced shock, just picked up to the point of not wanting to drop down. After seeing him holding a hammer, the others also came. The big person took the wrench, the more shy, the screws, the pliers, and the people living on the second floor chose for themselves a saw. All were ready. 11 men started knocking on the door of each house. The fear gradually covered the whole building. At this time, in the 1801 apartment, Tranquilich was performing talent for Nguyen Ngung to see. Last night, she brought the recurve trees weighing 30-2 pounds home to practice. After an evening, she felt quite good results, so she woke up today. She was anxious to hear Nguyen Ngung praised her. Only saw her steal, then revolved around it 2 times, then went to the other end of the room, stood there about half a minute and then shot out an arrow. Flam! The arrow hit the heart. Nguyen Ngung did not expect the achievement to be so good. She was happy to look at the precious calendar. "So good, just one evening, how good you are." Tranquilich knocked his chin, but not arrogantly said, "Modest, a little modest, after all, I have practiced shooting for many years, is this not an obvious thing?" In Nguyen Ngung, he felt a bit funny, but in addition to his mouth, he was constantly flattering. Anyway, it was just one evening, certainly because she was born innate. "Qui calendar, you quickly teach me, I feel a good teacher like you will surely train a good student." The calendar dropped the recurve tree in his hand. "Okay, let me teach you how to stand first." The two of them sat next to each other to talk for a while. Tranquilich said, "Please practice before, that year when I practice shooting, I have to stand continuously for hours to keep balance." Nguyen Ngung let out an hour, then holding the recurve bow, looking straight at the beer. Tranquilich was bored, picked up the combined bow on the table to look. The power of the complex is huge. With the beer that Nguyen Ngung arranged, only one arrow could pierce 2 layers. When she was wondering how to renovate the beer, the outside came the loud noise. There was a sound of breaking the door, there was a sound that broke the window, and there was a strong collision chain with metal. Nguyen Ngung and Tranquilich glanced at each other, knowing that someone came to the door. Tranquilich asked, "Do you need to go out to try it out?" Nguyen Ngung dropped the bow. "Of course, you have to go out, it's not avoided, first just look at what they want to do. Only a second day, won't go crazy so quickly." Tranquilich muttered, "Probably want to do something, don't say they want to move on the 18th floor." Nguyen Ngung said nothing. After the two of them went out, they discovered the Kui Koan was ready at the door. Through the window of the emergency exit, Nguyen but seeing the staircase was full of people, all men, everyone in the hands of the tools. Standing in the middle is a young man in 20s, holding a large hammer. When he saw Nguyen Ngung and Tranquilich, his eyes suddenly lit up. Tranqui frowned, "Now that you guys have seen it, these 2 apartments have people in, no more empty rooms." Chin Duduk was surrounded among the crowd. He struggled in the crowd to look inside, saw Nguyen Ngung and Tranquilich stand in the same place, and Tranqui Koan stood alone on the opposite side. "Okay, 2 apartments have people, we continue upstairs." The young man suddenly laughed loudly. "Leadership of Chin, don't hurry, we have to resolve the door lock in the emergency exit first." Chin Duduk looked at him, "How do you solve it?" "Now the flood is rising, maybe we have to move up later, these 2 apartments lock the exit, so where will we be here?" Trinqui Cohen said, there is still a place on the floor. The young man glanced at him and said, what if I want to be on the 18th floor? This is a public place, where do you rely on it? That's right, where do they rely on it? Someone continued. This is a violation of the fire prevention and fighting law. These two families are too selfish, our family is flooded and they lock the emergency exit, want us even the corridor to sleep, right? Someone was agitated, devastating to destroy the wooden door, you guys quickly open the door out of me, otherwise don't blame us to break the door. Nguyen and Gung saw that everyone had a tool in the hands, obviously used for big things. At this time, Trinqui tried in a small voice explaining, they want to find the apartment without anyone, then break the door in. Nguyen and Gung was not too surprised, saying loudly, isn't you looking for a house, why is it here to scramble for the corridor? Everyone stopped. At this time the young man said, it is true that we are looking for a house, but if we can't find it. Nguyen and Gung, there are so many houses on the floor, maybe you can't find a one. Others did not speak up, in fact they rushed into two apartments without people, including one empty apartment without no one, the other is full of amenities, 4 rooms have beds, moreover there are sofas, in the current situation can accommodate a lot of people. Moreover, this apartment also has some food, all of them have been taken by them. Chin Duduk tried to advise everyone to Hoa 66, everyone, the purpose of our self-saving committee is to unite to save each other, no need to develop a dispute with other households. As this, we go up to see, say that there are still other apartments with food. Everyone I looked at him, he looked at me, most people did not want to do big things, just a corridor well, no need to calculate too. The thing that the young man looked at the corridor was not the corridor, he glanced at Chin Duduk, okay, today we find a place first, without room, we will not lock the emergency door anymore. After saying that, he looked at Nguyen and Gung with a hidden eye. Nguyen and Gung frowned, responding to him with his eyes even deeper. The other man did not bother in his heart, even felt that Nguyen and Gung was an interesting and poisonous person. He smiled, approached the emergency door, his left hand tapped 2 on the window like a pervert, not yet introduced to 2 beauties, I am NGO 10, later there are still many opportunities to meet. Hearing this name, Nguyen and Gung was a bit surprised at first, but then rejoiced. The crowd of people who followed NGO 10 was noisy to the 19th floor. The corridor becomes quiet. Trinqui Cohen's face seriously, unexpectedly, they are so united so quickly, we need to be more careful. Trinqui Lich bit his teeth, stopping, what do you pull me to do, just now the name NGO 10 is threatening us. Nguyen and Gung said a deep sentence, it seems that he is a very cruel person. Trinqui Lich did not submit, is it cruel? I see him as a cowardly, no sincere, eager, shameless man. Nguyen and Gung was scolded by her mind, she hugged Trinqui Lich's shoulder, don't be angry, perhaps temporarily he will not rush here, we first practice archery for good, if he dares to target the 18th floor, we will take him home to make meat. Yes, let him go back to his grandparents. Trinqui Lich finished his anger, looked at Trinqui Cohen, I will continue to stay in the stop. Trinqui Cohen reluctantly, Ms. Nguyen, I have to bother you to take care of my sister. Nguyen and Gung laughed and said, the calendar taught me archery, and I bothered her right. Moreover, we were so familiar, Mr. Trin, he kept calling my name. Trinqui Cohen nodded, told Trinqui Lich, I have to go home to eat at night, no. Precious Calendar rolled his eyes, brother, you are not a kid, what do you say these words? Nguyen and Gung understood the implications of Trinqui Cohen, now every family does not have enough food, certainly cannot treat guests as before. She thought for a while and said, Mr. Trin, actually, I have something to ask you, about 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow morning I have to go out, need you to help me keep the escape door. Trinqui was shocked, you have to go out, what to do? Nguyen and Gung said, I have a boat made of rubber so I want to go out tomorrow. Go out to sea. Trinqui Lich was scared to be dumbfounded, so it is very dangerous, although there is a boat, but certainly the water is very fast, stopped, not you have no food, what to do? Nguyen and Gung's face was heavy, now I eat, but what about later? I feel that this rain is not easy to stop at present, everything is not broken, I want to go out to try a little luck. Tranquilich still felt that this was very dangerous, still trying to advise. Tranquicohen stopped her back, saying, I am with you. Precious Calendar rolled his eyes, brother. This time, instead of being interested in Nguyen and Gung, she felt more difficult to understand. I don't help me to advise her, even crazy about her. Tranquicohen looked at his younger sister, saying, in my heart, we know we are lacking a lot of materials. If Nguyen and Gung has a boat, we should try once. Tranquilich bit his teeth, I also go with you too. Tranqui shook his head, no, the people in the villa have met into a group, if they let them know our family has no one, they will surely rush in. I have to stay and look after this place, if they want to break the door of robbery, I still know how to deal with it. The whole Precious Calendar was stiff, saying, so you stay home, let me go out with stop. Tranquicohen frowned, Qui Calendar, complicated external circumstances, I'm stronger than you, I obeyed the biggest protection for all three of us. Two eyes of the calendar read. In fact, Nguyen and Gung also did not expect Tranqui to want to go out with her, it was true that she needed a companion, like the last time at the highway, if not a place to hide, how could she be able to deal with herself? But out very dangerous. Nguyen and Gung hesitated to say, Mr. Trin, or you and Qui Lich stay to look after the house. I guess very few people dare to leave the house now, so it will not be very dangerous. Tranquicohen looked at Nguyen and Gung, I go with you not because I want to take care of you but want to find materials with you. Nguyen and Gung rethinks, they are helping each other. Alright, before dawn tomorrow, we gather here. Because of this, throughout the next training session, Tranquilich was sad and unhappy, hatred could not teach an intensive course for Nguyen and Gung immediately. She was born in a family with a sports tradition, moreover because she was a female, so she had learned a lot of self-defense skills and some struggling techniques, now she taught Nguyen and Gung. After a day of practice, Nguyen and Gung felt the effect was not bad, but the muscles were aching, even when lying on the sofa also felt tired. She thought for a while, opened the original novel, found Ngo Tan segment on stage. Based on the classification of millions of words long, Ngo Tan is considered a character in the middle stage, appearing as a woman. Initially, he appeared as a male competitor, but then he was captured by the department of Din Fong, then often helped him do some dirty things. In the novel that did not describe what Ngo Tan did, only knew he appeared with a skinny appearance like a stick, a cruel, because he lived in the sewer for a long time, he always made others impress himself as a man. Filter, metamorphosis. Except for the change, there is another point, in the book describing so Din Fong is surrounded by many beautiful people, but Ngo Tan is not interested in them, normally does not even look at more twice. But today Ngo Tan is not like that. Nguyen and Gung said, did I accept the wrong person? The response system, there is no host. Nguyen and Gung speculated, in a certain stage, something could cause Ngo Tan to change. She thought for a moment and then said, Ngo Tan is the powerful arm of Du Din Fong, if I prevent the two of them from meeting, is it considered a preventing the heir of Du Din Fong? System, of course it is calculated, but the intention is how to prevent them from meeting. Nguyen and Gung blinked a few times, hit Ngo Tan a battle. After a long time of silence, the new system said, Master, Ngo Tan is the male woman of this book, on him also has his own heir, based on his now, just afraid of being bitten. Nguyen and Gung said an hour. The so-called lucky value is that heaven is helping him. In other words,